Shabbat Shalom. 1 John chapter 2 and verse 18. Little children, it is the last time, as ye have heard that Antichrist shall come. Even now are there many Antichrists, whereby we know that it is the last time. In the end times and at the last hour, many shall rise against Yahushua, claiming to love the God of Israel, Yahuwah, but denying his word, his very spirit, the Hamashiac. Now, let's take a look at this Anti-Hamashiac commenter. Now, I don't believe that this is a coincidence that he decided to make this type of comment on our holy Shabbat. I'm going to be using his comments as an example or a learning tool, if you will. I want you guys to be able to recognize darkness, and I do this periodically because we need to be able to identify wickedness. He says, all equals 100%. Why do my Israelites not give 100% to the Creator Yah, only alone? Shaking my head. Now, I'm going to tell you something, family. People who make these types of comments do not have a good understanding of the word of Yahuwah. They do not see the Father and the Son as one. And they do not understand that Yeshua is Yahuwah's salvation and his very breath. Now, before we continue to break down this spirit of the Antichrist in his message, let's go ahead and continue to read more of what he wrote. He said, I won't bear false witness, lie, or slander you, family. I come in peace, love, and the truth, i.e., thus said the Creator, Yah, in the law and prophets written. Wow, this is such a dark spirit. I'm about to show you this. He said, thus said the Creator Yah, in the law and the prophets written, does not command anyone to accept, follow, believe in, trust for salvation, and or worship the Son of Mary. So, who exactly, by name, told you to do these things? Remember, Eve in the garden had a similar test. Wow, this person is so dark, and it does remind me of what happened to Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. I'm going to show you this today. Let's take a look at how this person's dark spirit is coming to us as an angel of light, just as Satan operates. Because he said, I won't bear false witness, lie, or slander you, family. I come in peace, love, and the truth, i.e., thus said the Creator, Yah, in the law and the prophets. Okay, so let's see if he's coming to us from the law and the prophets, because Yehukanan was a prophet, right? So this is 1 Yehukanan chapter 2, starting at verse 20. It says, but ye have an unction for the Holy One, and ye know all things. I have not written unto you because ye know not the truth, but because ye know it, and that no lie is of the truth. Who is a liar but he that deny that Yeshua is the Hamashiach? He is the Antichrist that deny the Father and the Son. Whosoever deny the Son, the same had not the Father. He that acknowledged the Son had the Father also. Let that therefore abide in you which ye have heard from the beginning. If that which ye have heard from the beginning shall remain in you, ye shall continue in the Son and in the Father. And this is the promise that he had promised us, even eternal life. These things have I written unto you concerning them that seduce you. So Yahuwah had to have the prophet John write this because he knew in the end times there would be people who would try to seduce us or mislead us. And it's none other than the spirit of Satan that's covering people with darkness to push this false narrative that the Hamashiach never came in the flesh to save his people. Now, the first thing that this person said in his comment is, I won't bear false witness, lie, or slander you. He said he come in peace and love and truth. But as we test his spirit against the truth of the scriptures, he's speaking contrary to what is written by the prophets. Now, this commenter said that he's coming to us on this Shabbat in the truth, and that he's not lying, he's not bearing false witness. But Yehukanan says in verse 22, who is a liar, but he that deny Yeshua is the Hamashiach, that he is the Antichrist. You see, these people don't understand the scriptures, because Yehukanan goes on to say that the person who denies the Hamashiach, they're denying the Father and the Son. Why? Because Yeshua is Yahuwah's salvation. He's Yah's word who came in the flesh. And verse 24 says, let that therefore abide in you, which ye have heard from the beginning. Let's take a look at what Yehukanan's talking about. What did we hear from the beginning? Psalms chapter 33 and verse 6 says, by the word of Yahuwah were the heavens made, and all the host of them by the breath of his mouth. Okay, read this again if you need to. Let it sink in. Everything was made by the word of Yah and by his breath. This is what Yehukanan is telling us that we've known from the very beginning, that the word and the very breath of Yahuwah is in Genesis chapter 1 and verse 1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. So who is this word and breath of Elohim who created the heavens and the earth, whom we've known from the very beginning? Your answer is in John chapter 1, starting at verse 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. The same was in the beginning with Elohim. All things were made by him, and without him was not anything made that was made. In him was life, and the life was the light of men. And the light shineth in darkness, and the darkness comprehended not. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 1, because this sounds much like Yehukanan is talking about we've known since the beginning. Let's look at Genesis 1, starting at 2. It says, and the earth was without form, and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of Elohim moved upon the face of the waters. And Elohim said, let there be light, and there was light. But remember, the sun wasn't created until the fourth day. So what light was this? Verse 4 says, and Elohim saw the light, that it was good, and Elohim divided the light from the darkness. Now let's go back to John chapter 1, starting at verse 9, where it says, that was the true light, which lighteth every man that come into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him, and the world knew him not. He came into his own, and his own received him not. But as many as received him, to them gave he power to become the sons of Elohim, even to them that believe on his name. Now, you all see that, right? You see that there's an antichrist, a dark spirit that's been in the world since the beginning, that Yahuwah had to separate from the light. But this spirit, this antichrist spirit that's in the world now, antichrist do not mean anti-Christian, it means anti-Hamashiac. That spirit that's in the world now is trying to misguide us, mislead us, seduce us, and deceive us in hopes that we might be tricked into not receiving the power to become the sons and daughters of Elohim. And he's not going to do this by coming to you saying, I'm Satan, I'm darkness, I'm lying to you, in order to deceive you from receiving the light of the Hamashiac. He's not going to be honest and upfront with you and say, hey, I'm trying to rob you from receiving everlasting life. But he will come to you as an angel of light, trying to get you to believe things like the Hamashiach is not the word or the breath of Yahuwah. Now believe this, Satan knows the scriptures. Let me show you what else this commenter said. He said, remember Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20 and Amos chapter 3 and verse 7. He said, is the standard that must be met every time without exception, point blank period. Deception is everywhere in these last days, end time. Let's go ahead and take a look at Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20 to see what it says. I don't mind reading the scriptures because all these scriptures that we're looking at, and even the ones you're pointing out, are making you look like you don't know what you're talking about. You're unlearned. Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20 reads, "To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them." Now you guys remember that in John chapter 1, starting at verse 9, it talks about how the Hamashiac, Yahushua, was that light. He was the true light which light every man that come into the world. He was in the world, and the world was made by him. Now this is the verse that this commenter wants us to look at. He wants us to take a look at Isaiah chapter 8 and verse 20. That light is the Hamashiach. When you read precept upon precept, that light is Yahushua, who came into the world in the flesh. He is the Most High's word. And because you do not believe on the Hamashiach, Isaiah 8 and 20 says, there is no light in you. This commenter has no light in him. This darkness that has come over people in the world right now is that same darkness that Yahuwah cast out of heaven, that same angel that was in the light, who was cast out of heaven unto the earth. In the book of Adam and Eve, the Most High said that he has turned him into darkness. That's what they call the antichrist, in which is just the anti-Hamashiac. We're not talking about anti-Christianity. You see, that dark spirit always tried to twist people's words. This commenter said that by me using the term antichrist, I'm calling people anti-Christian, and that's not true. People who have followed me for all this time now know that I don't proclaim to be Christian. So why would I use the term antichrist for anti-Christian? That doesn't make any sense. I'm saying if you're anti-Christ, you're anti-Hamashiach. Now, this is exactly what this commenter is presenting as, an anti-Hamashiach entity. You're against light and you're against Yah's salvation. Let's look at the comment. It says, anti-Christianity fam, you sound very new to Israel. I heard you mention Yahushua from One West UPK street camps. Can we try this one more time? Are you ready to faithfully obey 1 Peter 3:15? Proving all things, defending the gospel of the Son of Mary with all of the fruits of the Spirit? Yes, no, thanks. Let me just start here. Maybe you haven't educated yourself on how to pronounce or sound out Yeshua's ancient Paleo-Hebrew name, Yahawashi. And that's okay. But you don't need to insult my intelligence as if I haven't done my due diligence in how to pronounce the ancient Paleo-Hebrew name of the Hamashiach. So I won't even go there and get into that. I don't know much about camps because I don't follow any camps. Now let's take a look at the first book of Adam and Eve. We're going to be starting at chapter 28, verse 1. And it begins by saying, "But when the crafty Satan saw them, that they were going to the garden, he gathered together his host and came in appearance on a cloud, intent on deceiving them. But when Adam and Eve saw him thus in a vision, they thought they were angels of Elohim come to comfort them about having left the garden or to bring them back again into it." So we see here Adam and Eve walking to the garden and they encounter Satan, and it says he was crafty and he gathered together his host and they came to them in appearance on a cloud with the intent of deceiving them. And it goes on to say, but when Adam and Eve saw him in a vision, they thought they were angels of Elohim come to comfort them about having left the garden or to bring them back again into it. And Adam spread his hands before Elohim, begged him to make him understand what they were. Now you can see here that Adam needed to seek the Most High's wisdom so that he would know and be able to discern whether these angels were from the Most High or not, because he couldn't tell. Many of us need to make sure that we have our armor on and we seek the Most High's wisdom so that we can discern and decipher between good and evil, using people like this commenter who came in my comment section today trying to deceive us. You might not be able to tell, but my voice is starting to crackle, and I'm having to clear my throat a lot, and almost like I'm losing my voice a little bit. So let me try to finish this. Darkness is coming at us full force in this day and time. So let me try to get finished. Verse 4 says, "Then Satan, the hater of all that is good, said to Adam, O Adam, I am an angel of the great Elohim, and behold the host that surrounded me. Elohim has sent us to take you and bring you to the northern border of the garden, to the shore of the clear sea, and to bathe you and Eve in it, and raise you to your former joy, that you return to the garden once again." It says, these words sank into the heart of Adam and Eve. Yet Elohim withheld his word from Adam, and did not make him understand at once, but waited to see his strength, whether he would be overcome as Eve was in the garden, or whether he would prevail. Then Satan called to Adam and Eve, and said, Behold, we go to the sea of water. And they began to go. And Adam and Eve followed them at little distance. But when they came to the top of the mountain to the north of the garden, which was a very high mountain without any steps to the top of it, the devil came near to Adam and Eve, and made them go up to the top in reality, and not in a vision, because he wished to throw them down and kill them, and to wipe their names from the earth, so that this earth should remain to him and his host alone. As you see, the same Satan in the Garden of Eden, who deceived Eve, and who continues to deceive this whole world, is the same dark entity who we call the Antichrist. He's also the evil one, the tempter, the devil, the god of this world, the accuser of the brethren, the prince of the power of the air, the serpent and the great red dragon. Furthermore, he's a murderer and a liar from the beginning. And his desire was to move in and occupy the throne of Elohim, to exercise absolute independence over the world and YAH'S creation, to bring the earth and all the universe under his authority. He seeks to operate independently of Elohim's plan for him, and he leads others to do the same. He introduced sin and death to the first humans when he convinced them to transgress Yahuwah. In the beginning, this kingdom was handed over to Satan for a time, and he's been ruling this world ever since. We must be vigilant, family. We must not be deceived or seduced by wicked spirits. Even Yeshua, when he walked this earth, was faced with many tests from Satan. What makes you think that we won't? Stay prayed up, family, and make sure that you seek the Most High's wisdom so that you can discern light from darkness. We see in the story of Adam and Eve that they had to go to Yah for discernment. I hope that this has been edifying today to your spirits. May the Most High bless you and keep you on this holy Shabbat. And remember Matthew chapter 24 and verse 13. He that endures unto the end, the same shall be saved. And until my next video, Shalom.